Look up from your telescope, take me on this journey home. I don't wanna wait no more.
Woo, some of y'all kill me. I did not go into depth about Olivia stealing the body cam footage in my episode 11 breakdown, and y'all are trying to let me have it in the comment section like, Erica, why haven't you talked about it? And then some of y'all were like, oh, I'm so surprised that you didn't go in on Olivia in this episode. Well, what do y'all want from your good sis E? But of course, I was always going to talk about it in a separate video, so let's get into should Olivia have stolen the body cam footage? All right, so I pulled a ton of comments because this, as you guys know, if you are a returning subby, if you've been around for a while, you know that these videos, these are conversations. These are jumping off points for us as a community to dialogue about the issues, about the characters, about the story, and all of that jazz. If you are new here, welcome. I have seen an influx in subscribers as well as viewers. So welcome, welcome, welcome to Erica Vane TV. I drop new All American videos every day. I'm also covering a ton of other amazing television shows. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Make sure that you do not miss an upload and get into this content, get into these comments, get into this conversation. I am going to go in depth with this video on the right and wrong around Olivia stealing that body cam footage in episode 11 because it's not as clear cut as it seems. While it feels right, while it feels like, yes, great job, Olivia, she did what had to be done, there is definitely more to that conversation, and I am going to discuss it. One of the reasons why I didn't go into depth in it in my episode 11 breakdown video, if you haven't already, make sure that you watch my episode 11 breakdown video next, because I do go into depth about a lot of other things in that episode discussion, and you don't want to have missed that. But one of the reasons why I didn't go in depth is because there's just, to me, there's two sides of it, and I understand both sides. And I did want to take my coverage of episode 11 and really kind of just give Olivia her flowers versus criticizing her, because I think that what the things that she did in this episode were very hard to do. She made very, very tough decisions. She was very brave, and I just wanted to let that be able to breathe before I actually dived into the what's wrong, what's going on. And I'm going to be very honest and open and transparent, so we do have to talk about what's wrong. But before I jump into that, I do want to read a few comments that caught my eye. Now, these are not the only comments, y'all. Y'all, you go ham underneath my videos. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of comments on some videos. So I apologize if I cannot get to your comment and put it into a video. I try my best to not only pull the most interesting things that I've seen, but things that are being repeated, so other people have said the exact same thing, so other people can feel heard, as well as I try to mix up the people that I include, so I can try at some point in any video to get new people to be spotlighted and shout out. Again, Erica Vane TV is a community for us to have conversations around film, television, and entertainment, and I don't ever want y'all to feel like it's just me talking and you're not a part of the conversation. So I definitely have some comments in this video. The next couple of videos, actually, I'm featuring a lot of you guys' comments because the reactions to episode 11 just really had me like so engaged and entertained. Raven Brown said, I'm surprised though that you didn't really go into detail about how you felt about what Olivia did when it came to her stealing the body cam footage. I guess we can kind of see your take from the title, laugh out loud, but I just thought you were going to go into more depth about it. Sassy Chick responded and said, I was surprised too, laugh out loud. I thought I had missed that part, but she really didn't talk about it. Maybe she's going to do a separate video. And then Raven responded, yeah, exactly, because that is what I wanted to hear her talk about most regarding the episode. She brought the scene up in the beginning of the video, but just summarized what happened and remained neutral when it came to what she thought about it. So then I thought that she was going to bring it up again when she got to the end, but then she started closing out the video, and I was like, wait, what? Laugh out loud. But yeah, she will probably do a separate video, hopefully, fingers crossed. And y'all will be correct. I definitely had a separate video planned from that moment. So And this is it. And I definitely wanted to include this dialogue because I just thought it was so cool. Like the fact that y'all actually care about what I think about specific things, I think is awesome, and it does not land on me lightly. I definitely take it very seriously, and I appreciate all of y'all's support. And again, yes, it deserved a whole separate video, which is why we are here. Beat Up said, I was so here for Olivia leaking that tape herself. Fighting for justice isn't pretty, and at this point, that young lady's family deserves answers and the justice so their child can rest in peace. Them sitting on the tape for 5 months is infuriating. Was Laura never going to speak up about it or try to fight it? I'm just assuming she wasn't due to how she was talking about it with Olivia. I'm here for Liv being an activist as long as she's protecting her own peace and sobriety while doing it. I think in the end, Laura will probably end up fighting for justice once things calm down. At least I hope she would. I didn't know that it was 5 months. Um, that would put this at the summer or right when they got back to school. And I feel like if it was that, it couldn't have been that long because we would have heard about it before then. I don't know. I think that this is a recent thing that happened within the last 2 weeks, actually. Um, and yeah, it did seem like Laura was not going to say anything about it, or was not planning on releasing the footage just by how she was interacting with Olivia. And yes, she doesn't owe Olivia anything as DA, and she's technically not supposed to speak on it. But even like just how she was moving and the tone that she had, it really just felt like she was kind of in a position or going to take the position of trying to protect the cops that were involved. Um, Old Dog One said, "What Olivia did is illegal, right? I mean, when it comes to the courtroom, is it as bad as jail?" Sorry if I'm way off track. Old Dog One, you are not off track, and you are probably one of the like two people who posted a comment about the fact that this is illegal. And that is something very real to speak about. I'm definitely going to talk about it in this video. But that to me just reaffirmed that I should not have brought that up in the episode 11 breakdown because so many people are not feeling that. But you're right, it is definitely illegal. Like what Olivia did is not okay. Poto KZ2 said, can we please get a video about Olivia leaking the tape? How is it going to affect Laura and Olivia's relationship along with professional ramifications? For example, Laura's job status and how it will affect active cases. I really think people are overlooking how big of a deal this is and how strong the repercussions could be. Laura will most likely lose her job and could have charges brought against her. IDK, I'm not a lawyer, so don't quote me, but for real, I need a whole explanation video because it was kind of mentioned in passing but wasn't expounded upon. Yes, and with that said, let's get into it. All right, getting to the fact of the matter, Olivia is wrong. She is dead wrong for breaking into Laura's government issue computer, stealing government issue or government property by way of this digital video file. This is definitely illegal. If she was not the DA's daughter, she could definitely be brought up on charges. I don't think that they are going to bring her up on charges. I don't think, honestly, anything is going to happen to Liv legally because I think that Laura is going to protect her. But I do think that this is going to change Laura and Olivia's relationship moving forward. If you haven't already, check out my video, Let's Talk About Laura Baker, where I go into a little bit more depth in reference to the personal relationships that are happening within the Baker household, as well as what I feel like is going on with Laura specifically. Because in that video, I talk a little bit about Laura and Olivia's relationship. I talk about identity within their family, a little bit about race. So make sure that you check that video out. But I definitely think that this is going to change their relationship for the foreseeable future. I don't want to say forever because forever is a very, very long time. But given all that Laura has endured, and I say endured because from what we have seen from the start of the series till now, we have not really seen Laura do anything, like provoke anything, do anything really negative. Even how she was moving in reference to the affair. She actually allowed Grace to have conversations with her. Like, she allowed Billy to move this kid into her house. Like, all of these are things that she didn't have to do, that she didn't have to support, that she didn't have to go along with. And she willingly just like has rode for her family. She's rode for Billy. She rode for Olivia. She's rode for Jordan. And in this one moment, while it is a touchy situation culturally for us as Black people, right? We want the footage, we want accountability, we want the police to pay for what they did. This is a moment in which she needed her family to ride for her, and instead of riding for her, Olivia chose another side. And I think that that is what's going to play out as their relationship starts to devolve. And it's going to be very hard because a mother's love is something that is like otherworldly to me. Like, a mother's love is inexplicable, it's unquantifiable, it is intense. So Laura is not only going to have to battle with this family member betraying her in this way, and yes, this is her career, it's a choice, whatever, whatever. But a lot of times our careers become a part of our personality. What we do becomes a part of who we are. So, like, let's not rob her of that and trivialize that. So, anybody who's going to say, well, it's just her career, she can get another job, we're not even going to introduce that into the conversation. If you want to have that conversation, please do so elsewhere. This is something that's very important to her. She's worked very hard for it. And for her family to betray her, specifically her daughter to betray her, she's going to have to contend with her mother's love, her mother's unconditional love for this child, but then also feeling very personally and deeply attacked. And that is a hell of a thing to have to navigate. In all honesty, Laura has been operating in a space of protect Liv mode, help Olivia get back on the wagon, support Olivia through this, not don't just send her to rehab, value her perspective and her feelings around specific things and her recovery and her health. And now she's going to get switched into the mode of she got to save herself, because this girl is the one who is initiating an assault on her, right? So we're definitely going to see them be at odds. We're definitely going to see Laura battle with her feelings around what she should do next and how she actually interacts with her. It kind of sucks because while Laura has not been the optimal parent, right? Like, that has not happened. And if you missed it, I actually did a video where I talked about the 5 ways that the Baker parents have just failed as parents. And I literally break down specific examples of how the Bakers have just been tripping on the parental front. So check out that video if you haven't already. You can watch it after this video. I have a link in the cards above in the description box down below. But Laura has tried her best to be supportive of Olivia, and when it comes to parental units, I think that she's done a better job than Billy has. So it's going to suck to see Laura shift out of that mode and Olivia lose that home front support, even if it wasn't the best. To see her lose that is going to I think also really it's going to impact Olivia in a way that she did not anticipate. And okay, so speaking about stealing the footage, it was wrong. It's illegal. Okay, great. In this way, y'all, like, while Olivia is doing something that needs to be done, and be clear, I want to really be like, yes, I'm glad that she leaked the footage. I'm glad that she sold the footage. When I really sat down to think about this video, and I wanted to put a lot of thought and effort into this video, I wanted to not just speak from emotion, but speak from a place of some type of intelligence and being informed. I will say that this could potentially be a problem, like a really, really, really big problem. And this is the stuff that we don't see as the emotional, I don't want to call us victims, but as the Black community, seeing other Black people lose their lives, we become a part of this group of people who are being attacked. So, like, the hate crimes, the police brutality, the murders that are happening by police officers towards Black people make Black people the victims in this particular sense. So I'm not saying that all Black people are victims, but in this particular sense, we kind of all will identify with who the victim would be in this. That mindset kind of doesn't allow for reason to enter in by way of, like, what's another alternative. We want justice, we want it right now. And when I initially watched it, I was wondering if Laura actually was holding on to the footage because of something shady. Like I was like, oh, is she trying to protect her political stance? Is she trying to protect the police? Is she trying to figure out a way to spin the narrative and adjust different things? But y'all, she could have literally been holding on to the footage because she was working on her case against the cops. And now that the footage has been leaked, now the public will be able to form and try this case in the court of public opinion, which means any and every defense that she could come up with to be able to hold these cops accountable will be discussed on the news, on social media, like one on one, like in person, like everything is going to be discussed. So it's almost like with this footage being leaked in the way that it was, she loses her advantage of being able to cultivate her case in private and catch things that maybe the cops involved weren't paying attention to because they are also very emotionally charged and on their own side. And now that this footage is released, people are going to be able to pick it apart and put out there every potential scenario. And now the other side, or these police officers, are able to craft a defense to her actual case, giving her less of an advantage. Does that make sense? Drop down in the comment section and tell me if that makes sense. And honestly, like that's what I'm really hoping was the reason why Laura was holding on to the footage. I'm really leaning on that because I was going through the comment section of my episode 11 breakdown video as well as my episode 12 preview video, and there were a few of y'all calling Laura racist. I do not believe that Laura is racist. I don't think any amount of Laura Baker is a racist woman. I just do not believe that. The character that they have presented to us has shown no inkling, not a bit of inkling of being a racist white woman. So I think going that route is a little bit far left. And then that also begs for us to give her a little bit of grace and try to look even further into potential motives or into potential intentions, because her character, her track record with her character has not led up to that particular thing. So like, let's not jump to conclusions in that way. So that's where Erica falls on the fence. Like, Erica does not believe Laura Baker is a racist, period. I do believe that Laura Baker is uninformed and unintentional about race relations within her household. I do believe that. And I think it's time that we have a conversation about identity, specifically within interracial relationships and mixed race children, because I think that that's an entirely different conversation than a conversation around is Laura Baker a racist, because I don't believe that Laura Baker is a racist. And child, this is what I love about All American. While on the surface it seems like a normal CW teenage drama, the creatives, the writers, the people behind this show layer it with such deep conversation and messaging around real life that we can sit and have conversations like the one that we're having right now, in a way that is just not trivial at all. I absolutely adore this show. If y'all can't tell by now, All American is that for me right now. And another potential issue with Olivia stealing the body cam footage is we don't know now if now the body cam footage won't be admissible in court, to be able to be used against these officers. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not a cop. I don't know the ins and outs of cops and what they have going on. I don't really watch a ton of cop shows, but the things that I have seen, there's definitely something called chain of custody when it comes to evidence, and there's evidence that could be thrown out of cases if they don't follow a certain chain of custody or they don't maintain a certain path from being obtained as evidence and tracked and accounted for. So now that this footage has been leaked, I don't know if this is a breach in chain of custody, which will mean that now this video can't be used in the case against these officers, which would make it completely the wrong move, not just because she betrayed her mom and broke into her computer, but now you would have taken the biggest piece of evidence that could work against these police officers and made it inadmissible. So now they have to craft the case without visual proof that they actually killed this girl, and on the grounds of just being racist cops. That's a huge, huge problem. Now, those two things potentially breaching chain of command or chain of custody, as well as helping provide the police officers come up with a better story, or allowing for the public to come up with what they think, and then now the police officers can change their story to figure out what's going to best appease or speak to or counteract whatever the narrative is that the public comes up with. Those two things are very, big things. It's an issue for her to betray her mom's trust. It's an issue for her to break into government property and steal government property. Okay, cool. But even still, I understand why she did it, and I'm not, and if those two things that I presented as problems are not an actual problem, if they are able to still use the footage, and if they are still not able to come up with a good narrative that accounts for why it happened the way it happened, then I'm 500% on board with Olivia, taking this footage and releasing it to the public. Because at the end of the day, I think that, because I don't think that Laura is racist, I do think that she was crafting a prosecution for these cops. But the problem is, and because Laura is not of the culture, she's not going to know this, but the problem is that it's very, very hard to work within a system that is literally built against or in opposition of a people. And it's very hard to try to work within that system to get that system to actually work for or provide justice for the people who the system was built in opposition of. So while Laura is trying to do all the right things, dot all her I's, cross all her T's, and work within the system to bring these people to justice, it's already set up to be a disservice to Black people. So no matter what she was going to do, it would have been an uphill battle. It would have been a thing that she most likely would lose, because the system is set up to not value Black lives. The system is set up to oppress Black lives. The system is set up to silence Black voices. And in this case, Laura would have been fighting for a Black voice, a Black body, a Black person. And this system could give a damn less about Black people. I said what I said. So ultimately, in this video, y'all, I talked about the reasons why Olivia should not have stolen that body cam footage. If it does not come out to actually adversely affect the case, then I'm still for her stealing this damn footage, because some revolutionary, brave, courageous, illegal acts have to happen, because in all honesty, the legality of things is also set up by people and a system that wants to oppress people of color, specifically Black people. So sometimes we got to do some illegal shit so that we can actually have equal rights or equal standing or a strong foundation. I don't necessarily look at a lot of the laws as black and white, especially when so many laws have been put in place to ostracize and oppress a group of people. The lawmakers aren't right, so that means that not all of the laws are right. And again, I said what I said. Please, 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 please do not be a person to jump down in the comment section and debate any of that with me. We could talk about whether Olivia was right or wrong. We could talk about this character. But this is not the video, and this is not the time for y'all to debate my personal stance on where we fall or Black Lives Matter. Do so at your own risk. All right, and with that said, now it is your turn to chime in. Let me know what you thought about the episode. Let me know what you feel about Olivia stealing this body cam footage. Is it right? Is it wrong? Are you in a gray area as well? Tell me how you feel about Laura. Do you think that Laura had the best intentions or not? I want to know all of that and more in the comment section down below. Y'all, I felt like I got a little passionate in this video. I hope that y'all receive it well. I hope that no one is offended by the things that I said in this video. I definitely spoke very, very passionately, but I also tried to speak from a place of really great intentions and some type of education, so I'm not speaking ignorantly. Yeah, and I love y'all. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, for watching the videos. We are going into some very, very interesting waters when it comes to All American. They are having real conversations about real life that is affecting us right now, which ultimately means that we're going to have those type of conversations on this channel. Regardless, I love to lead with love, and I love you all. So just keep that in mind when we are, going back and forth and discussing. If you're new here, I'm Erica Vane, and I post new All-American videos every day, sometimes twice a day. Child, I'm going to have to get to my twice a day bag with some of this stuff, because I even have more to say. So Make sure that you hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and join the tribe. I have the best community on the internet, specifically All American, but y'all coming through on some of these other videos too. Like we are really building out our conversation around entertainment, television, music, and news, and I absolutely love it. I know that you're gonna love it here. Again, be sure to click subscribe. Go ahead and like this video because you made it to the end. I know you liked it. Go ahead. And if you're really feeling froggy and you want to support your good sis E, drop the link to this video into your Twitter and tweet it out. Be sure to at me at ericavane.com or screenshot it and share it on your Insta stories, and I will definitely repost you. Share the love, y'all. Let's grow our community. Let's build it up. And if you have missed any of my All American videos, you can check them out with the All About All American playlist right here. And if you're looking for something else to watch, because child, we are definitely on another break from All American, and you might need something else to watch, I got 2 bomb suggestions for you right here. I'll see you in my next video. Love you. Bye.